Hey everybody, Phillip, alcoholic. All right, so I got that dreaded call yesterday from Louie. And he said, hey, are you going to make it tomorrow night? I said, yeah, I'll be there. And he says, okay, great, you're leading. Maybe I won't be there. But no, if there's one thing I've learned in this program, it's when you're called upon, you got to show up. That's really what this is all about. So a little bit about myself. Growing up, I was in a family of my mom alcoholic addict, her father alcoholic, wife beater. My dad he had a father that was an alcoholic, a wife beater. It's just kind of in my DNA to a certain extent. I remember my very first memory of my mom, in fact, was literally her drunk on her ass at the top of the stairs. I was probably about 5 years old, something like that. It's so crazy how you have no memories, but this one thing is so ingrained, It's just like my dad's saying, oh, your mom's sick, don't worry, she's sick, we just got to take her away. And, I didn't really know what was going on. I just, oh, mom's sick. But, as you grow up, you realize, oh, she's fucking schnockered. So that was just kind of like my upbringing. She was in and out of rehab, I think about 6 or 7 times as I grew up. Rehab, detox, and it just kind of progressed as that. It was just kind of a part of our life, something that we just kind of dealt with. It's just, oh, that's mom. She suffers from Lyme's disease and fibromyalgia, and so the doctor, they just say, okay, well, to help with the pain, here's some opiates. Oh, they're not working anymore? Let's give you some more. And that was just kind of how things went for, until she died. That's gonna go. That's a lot of buzz. I remember I had my first drink right about 12 years old during Christmas time. And I remember my family, we did these whiskey sours. They'd throw them into these big gallon jugs, just like, a fifth of whiskey in each gallon of milk. Or it's like these empty milk jugs, fill them with a fifth of whiskey, toss in a little frozen lemonade and some Sprite, and you hit onto the counter, it makes it like a slushy. It's fantastic. 12 years old, I fill up, my little Bart's root beer can full of that and just go to town. And my dad, he kind of caught on to it. What's going on? Oh, and then my mom, she was always kind of my savior with this. It was always kind of condoning. Oh, Pat, it's Christmas. I'm fucking 12. Mom, come on. Do better. Oh, shit, I hate that. Yeah, it was, and it kind of went that way my entire life. I remember once I got closer to, 14 years old was my roughest moment with her. And I remember very vividly the day my sister, she's late for soccer practice. Mom, you gotta drive me, come on. She's just kind of incoherent. And she's just not moving. And so, okay, fuck it, I'm going. So, she doesn't even have her license, but she drives herself to soccer practice. I'm left there with mom. She's incoherent. I don't know what's going on. I try to, Mom, you gotta get to bed. And as I push her through the threshold of her door and lay her down onto her bed, she starts seizing and foaming from the mouth. And I called the paramedics. They got there literally at the same time as my dad's pulling up. And they were able to save her. And they said, this is the closest one we'll see this week. She's literally on the point of dying, and her reasoning for it was she was in so much pain, and they had her on these fentanyl patches that are a 3-day dose. And so I forgot a day, so I put it under my tongue, and because I needed to hit me quicker. And I just ingrained in my head how close. And there's many times since then that she just as easily could have passed away. My brother and sister have had to go through the same type of situations with her. And then, a few years later, I'm getting into my days where I'm starting to take bong loads, 15, 16 years old. And I made my own little pipe out of stained glass solder. We did arts and crafts. It was fun. So I crafted myself my own little pipe. And literally, the day after I made it and smoked out of it the first time, she found it. And she says, you know what? You're going to RIM Family Services, or I'm telling your dad. I said, oh, well, don't tell Dad. He's always the bad cop. So he lied to my dad for 2 weeks until he found out, broke his heart, and it's just like, man, it's so shitty once again. Just my mom just trying to find ways to condone my bad habits and hide it from Dad, like just almost trying to develop this, I don't know, rapport with us, you know, because she struggled with it for so long. And I think she was looking for some understanding from our point of view of what she went through. You know, starting about 18 years old, you know, I started drinking a lot more heavy, I was getting high every single day. And my brother and I, he was going through a divorce. He's about 7 years older than me, and we moved into my grandpa after he passed away. You know, he was the alcoholic, he was the wife beater. When we moved in there, I found that he was a pastor, and this kind of leads into my aspect of what kind of took me away from the church a little bit. Was I found out, you know, once he passed away, not only was he an alcoholic and a wife beater and beat on my mom, but I mean, he also sexually abused her. And I just, it tore me up, and it really made me give up on religion and church. And I was just like, I can't be a part of this, you know, it's so, tore me up. And so we're living in this house, my brother and I, I'm 18 years old, and if you can think, somebody that's a 25-year-old bachelor and an 18-year-old, we're just getting fucking wasted every day. Like Popov and Smirnoff Blue Label, my stars and stripes every single day, from you know, morning to evening. You know, chicks coming over. You know, I'm in a band, and so we play. We were fucking awesome. We toured to Tucson, Arizona. We were absolute rock stars, and we fucking partied like it every single day. You know, just lived the life. You know, and it just never stopped. I later on started working at Lucky Baldwin's. I know I've served a few of you over there for sure.
Allegedly.
It's good, old stomping ground. Yeah, so worked there for about 10 years, and you know, that there I was also working at Starbucks. And at that point, it was I'd go to Starbucks to work in the morning from 4 a.m. to about 11. Head on up to the Buccaneer in Sierra Madre. You know, get my fix, go home for an hour nap, head back, work again, and then, you know, during work and after work, keep drinking until about 2 in the morning. And that was life, just every single day, consuming alcohol, getting stoned, partying. And as I'm doing this, I'm just noticing more and more of these people that I called my friends were just peeling off because of just the fucking ass that I would become when I would drink in excess. And it's just a trip. And then about 7 years ago, that's when my mom had passed away. And it was really rough on me because it was a straight up, she overdosed and died alone. You know, my dad said this is the last time he moved her out. Within 6 months, she lost about 70 pounds. And, you know, last time I saw her was my birthday. She was annoying the hell out of me because it's like, you're all fucked up, just like usual. And that's kind of how I treated her, really. Like, the last 5 years she was alive. I would be there with the savior complex of like, I want you to be better, but like, I'm so irritated with you no matter what you say, whether it's right or wrong, I am always irritated with you. And that day, like, I didn't even give her a hug goodbye, and 1 week later I get that call that she overdosed and died. And that was the turning point for me where drinking no longer was for fun, it was my coping mechanism, it was to hide all those traumas and all that pain and the selfishness, because I was pointing so much blame. I blamed the program because, you know, she was going and it didn't help her. It just made her feel more like a victim. It made her feel more and more like that she was incapable. That really frustrated me. I blamed the church. I blamed my family for not being there. You know, it's just the blame was pointed at everybody else, but, you know, her own decisions. I mean, that last a month before she passed away, she told my brother, he's like, hey, if you don't knock this off, you're not going to see your grandson anymore. And so I'm going to have to think about that. she had to think about if she's going to continue to do opiates or if she's going to see her grandson ever again. She was to the point of being helpless. I was feeling helpless because I saw in myself that the things that I was so frustrated with her about, I saw in myself as well. And I think that's the thing that made me so angry. I had anger towards her, I had anger towards the family, I had anger towards the church, I had anger at myself, because I felt like my life is predetermined and this is going to be me, this is the way that I'm going to be going out. Until I came 9 months ago through these doors. I heard my boy Mike Casey over there, he's gone sober. And reached out to him just casually, like, hey, you want to play some music? And just his aura, if you will. I mean, he just has this demeanor to him that is just like big smiles, having fun, and living his best life sober. And it's like, damn, you know what? If he can do it, I can too. Because I mean, seeing that guy, I mean, I've never seen him without a drink in his hand. So it's like, okay, I can relate. That fool can drink.
Not successful.
Yeah. So I had then, came into the program and, playing music. That's really what got me connected here. But then there was the beach trip that we had. Louis was there, Steve, Mike, Rob, Hector, Patrick, Charles, Bono. It was really special because I got this intimate situation where I actually got to open up to these guys with only having about a month of sobriety under my belt, and they showed me that like with the community and like by taking action and actually being a part of this, you really can get something out of it. That made me feel real connected. And then followed that, we went to the BMR retreat, and that was a whole new breath of life. I learned to meditate. I prayed for the first time in probably over a decade. It was just such a hell of an experience. Those of you that are already signed up for Herky Creek, you're in for a fucking treat, let me tell you what. It's a great group to be with, and I would not be here today if it wasn't for that retreat, for sure. And even though with all that good stuff happening, I still was having my ups and downs, and some days were easier than others. I remember I was at the point where I was having a really rough day at it with work and life and money and fucking taxes. And I was on my way out. I was literally on my way out. And I think everybody sensed it, and I just accidentally went to the meeting on the day that they're holding elections, and they're like, hey, who's gonna be the new chip guy? Fucking Phillip. So here I am, now I've got my Monday commitment, and I did not want to do it at all. But by doing it, it literally has saved me. It's kept me connected with the program. I'm continuing to be of service in that light. It's giving me a sense of purpose, something that's greater than myself, which I didn't really have before. How it is now, I mean, my circumstances haven't changed. I have the same lady, I still have my 2 dogs, my family still doesn't live here, I'm still working in the alcohol industry, and all that stuff is the same, but like what the program has given me now is I've had this paradigm shift, and my perspective has kind of changed. I'm recognizing that now with me on my 4th step, going through it, all my resentments kind of boil down to a lot of the same things. It's my bitterness. It's the victimhood that I hold. It's the assumptions I make about how people will react or how they feel. My selfishness and my need to be right. As I've been in the program, I've been able to recognize those things, and I'm noticing I'm bringing a better self every day when I'm praying, when I'm taking note that I need to be of service to others. It's a trip. It's like I've taken a step away from my old self, which I call it my old self, but I know it's actually just, it's there in the other room, just putting in sets, putting in reps, and it's ready to pounce on me whenever I open the door and let it go. So, the last couple weeks, it's been a rough workload, and I didn't make it to meetings for like 13 days, and my sponsor says, just in that amount of time alone, getting a little crusty, aren't you? Yeah, you get a little crusty, even 2 weeks away. I'm noticing that old self coming. I'm seeing myself quicker to anger and frustration. And the only thing I can say to wrap this up is the most important thing with this program, the thing that will help you out the most, that's helped me out the most, is get involved, get a sponsor, and be ready to just embrace discomfort. Thank you so much.
Well done.